Welcome to the Wife Stories YouTube channel. New video every day, and don't forget to subscribe. Here we go.
You said it yourself. Do what you want. I stand there, my back against the cold wall of our hallway, staring at Rebecca as her words echo. She's yelling in a raw, ragged voice that I barely recognize. A cracked picture frame lies at her feet, my father's old photograph. I try to speak, but nothing comes out. My throat is so tight it hurts to breathe. I can't do this anymore. That thought pounds in my head like a drum, but I don't speak it. I just watch her, watch the trembling in her hands, see the anger twisting her lips. She's furious, and I'm numb. There's a taste of metal on my tongue, a bitterness I can't wash away. "Are you deaf?" she shouts. "Say something." My gaze falls to the shattered glass. I remember when that photo was taken. My father had just come to visit us in Los Angeles, before his heart gave out. He was so proud of me and my new job at the paper. I swallow the ache. No, that pride feels like it belongs to someone else's life. Rebecca stomps past me toward the living room, slamming her hip against a side table, cursing under her breath. This used to be our safe place. A modest suburban house, a quiet street, a yard big enough for a swing set. I used to feel at home here. Now it's all shards and broken frames. She spins around, eyes blazing. "I'm talking to you, John." Her voice cracks on my name. For a split second, I see something else in her face. Fear, regret, maybe shame. I almost reach out to her. Almost. But I don't. I keep my hands at my sides. It's as if I've forgotten how to move toward her. My heart's beating slow, heavy, as though any faster might tear me open. "You said," her words quake with exhaustion. "You said you didn't care. Do whatever you want, Rebecca. You remember that?" I remember. Of course I do. It was after I found out she'd been singing that damn song to someone else. A trivial thing, maybe, but it lodged in my gut like a knife. She used to sing it softly in our kitchen, in our bedroom when she thought I was asleep. I can't get the melody out of my head. She always whispered the refrain in the same breathy way, as if it were our secret lullaby. And I heard it again, but this time in a school bus, directed at some driver she hardly knew. She denies it was anything important. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm a fool for letting that be the wedge that cracked everything open. But the moment I heard her voice carrying those same quiet rises and falls, that same private sigh, aimed at someone else, I realized how replaceable I was. How easy it was for her to give away what I thought belonged to us alone. I let out a breath. "Yeah," I say finally. I said it. She seems startled, I've answered. "Then don't pretend to be shocked now." "I'm not pretending," I murmur. The tension in the room is suffocating. She stares at me, waiting for me to throw an insult, to fight back. But there's just emptiness inside me. Maybe it's the calm before the final storm, or maybe it's the calm after I've already drowned. She exhales hard. Her green eyes shift to the side, staring at the half-open door leading to our bedroom. I know she wants me to follow her, to throw accusations, to break something else. But I won't. I'm just so damn tired. "John," she says quietly, "what's happening to us?" I shake my head. "You tell me." She doesn't answer. Instead, she storms off, leaving me alone with the shattered picture frame and the memory of my father's smile. I'm not sure how long I stand there, but eventually I hear the front door open and close. She's gone, and the house falls silent. That's how it's been. Silent. I carry that silence in my chest, like a dull ache. Time passes in a blur of waiting. The only reason I'm even aware of the outside world is because of my job. I'm a columnist for a local newspaper. Most days, I write about ordinary things, small-town politics, weird community events, local heroes. But even that's starting to feel like a performance. Words swirl in my head, but they don't connect the way they used to. I think about our son. He's at a friend's house tonight, or so Rebecca said. She didn't give me details, We rarely talk logistics beyond what's strictly necessary. Doctor appointments, groceries, bills. Our boy is the only reason we still pretend this is a family. But after everything I found out, no, don't think about that now. Not yet. If I open that door, I might never climb out of the darkness waiting there. I pick up the broken frame. My father's face, half covered by a shard of glass, stares back at me with silent sympathy. I carefully pull out the photo and set it aside. Then I grab a broom and sweep up the pieces. My arms feel heavy, as if the simple act of cleaning has drained my last bit of energy. Eventually, I make my way to the bedroom, uncertain whether I'm seeking rest or punishment. That's when the phone rings. I hesitate. The digital display shows unknown number. My stomach knots. Should I answer? Something in me says yes, so I press the call button. A man's voice. Low, calm. Is this John Rivers? Yes. This is Dr. Sanders from the hospital. Your son's blood work came in and... He clears his throat. I prefer to discuss it in person with both parents, if that's possible. My heart thuds against my ribs. Is he okay? There's nothing immediately life-threatening, but I do need to speak with you. Please let Rebecca know as well. The line clicks. I'm left in a dull shock. Our son has been sick, on and off, for months now, complaining of fatigue, minor fevers. The doc said it could be something or nothing. We ran tests, so many tests. I keep telling myself it's just a bug, that kids get sick. But hearing the doctor's tone, I feel the worst kind of dread coil in my gut. I text Rebecca. We need to talk. Dr. Sanders called. Something about our son's labs. Come home. No answer. The silence resonates. Sometime later, maybe an hour, maybe 3. The door opens, and she steps inside, eyes rimmed red. She's been crying. Her hair is disheveled. She doesn't even make eye contact. The doctor called. She asks in a subdued voice. Yeah, he wants to see us both. She nods. Let's go. We drive in silence, side by side, with an invisible wall between us. I grip the wheel so tightly my knuckles turn white. In the passenger seat, she sits stiff, arms wrapped around herself. Streetlights flicker across her face. She glances at me once, but says nothing. At the hospital, we're ushered into an office. Dr. Sanders stands to greet us, folding his hands in a gesture of polite concern. He's a gray-haired man with a gentle smile, but tonight his expression is grim. Thank you for coming, he says, gesturing for us to sit. Your son is stable. We did a series of tests. Blood panels, genetic markers, everything you authorized. Rebecca's nails dig into her palms. What's wrong with him? He hesitates. He may have a condition that affects his immune system. It's manageable, but it requires careful monitoring. Before we begin specialized treatment, there is one more piece of information you need to be aware of. My chest tightens. Go on. Dr. Sanders takes a breath. We analyzed a sample of your son's DNA. In cases where advanced therapy might be needed, verifying genetic compatibility can be crucial, especially if parent-to-child transplants or donations are considered. Mr. Rivers, you are not a genetic match. Her face goes white. She looks at me, lips parted as if to speak, but no words come out. My throat constricts like a vice. I'm not a genetic match. 1,000 images crash through my mind, memories of the day he was born, my father holding him, all those bedtime stories, teaching him to ride a bike. All those times I thought I was a father. Are you sure? I manage. He nods, compassion in his eyes. We double-checked. It's conclusive. Rebecca suddenly stands, the chair scraping the tile. This can't be right, she whispers. There must have been an error. I'm sorry, Dr. Sanders says softly. I know this is overwhelming. Time slows. I hear my own pulse roar in my ears. I see her trembling shoulders, and for a moment I feel a rush of pity. She's terrified. She's also guilty. And in that guilt, she's alone. Except for me, the man she betrayed. I say nothing. The silence is deafening. Dr. Sanders continues, carefully, "Your son is going to be fine, medically speaking. We'll do more tests, figure out the best approach. But you two need to discuss this, and let us know how we can proceed together." Rebecca chokes out a response. "Yes, of course." Outside, she tries to grab my arm, but I pull away. My vision is a blur of fluorescent lights and polished floors. The hospital hallway seems endless. "John," she says, her voice cracking. Let's just talk." I keep walking. Not here. We drive home in a wordless vacuum. Once inside, she collapses on the couch, burying her face in her hands. I stand in the doorway, staring at the shape of her small body trembling under the weight of the truth. Eventually, she lifts her head. Tears streak her cheeks. "Let me explain," she pleads. "Explain?" I feel a strange, hollow laugh build in my chest. "You want to explain?" She winces, nodding. It might be from before we married. "John, you remember I had that fling. That fling you swore was over when we got engaged." My voice rises. "You told me it was nothing serious." She hesitates, and something inside me snaps. "Nothing serious," I repeat, the bitterness scalding my throat. "So that's how you define the father of your child?" She stands up, her own anger flaring. "Don't twist this. You and our relationship wasn't perfect. You were always busy. We drifted. I felt alone. Stop." My voice comes out sharp. "Don't pin this on me." We stare at each other in a moment of raw fury. Then she starts pacing, flinging words at me. "I tried to fix it, tried to keep our family together. But you shut me out, John. You never listened, never looked at me like you used to. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to congratulate you on lying for 9 years?" She exhales a shaky breath. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. He's our son. I've never doubted that you love him." I let out a short, humorless laugh. Clearly didn't matter enough to tell me the truth. She flinches. "I was afraid. Afraid of losing you. Afraid you'd leave me." The quiet that follows is more brutal than any shouted insult. Finally, I sink onto the armchair, burying my face in my hands. My mind is spinning with the simple, horrifying fact. The boy I raised might not be mine, biologically. And now he's sick, possibly needing procedures that hinge on his father's DNA. Except I'm not his father. But I can't stop loving him. That's the sickest part of all. I hate her for betraying me, but I still love the boy. He's my son, no matter what. She inches closer, voice trembling. "John, can we?" I hold up a hand. "Don't. I can't listen to you right now." She turns away, hugging herself. I see her shoulders trembling again. For a moment, I want to comfort her. But the anger is too big. It's bigger than both of us. I stand abruptly and walk to the bedroom. I close the door, not caring if she follows. I collapse onto the bed, arms shaking, heart pounding. My phone buzzes, and I see a message from Dr. Sanders, something about scheduling follow-up tests. I toss the phone aside. Hours pass. I don't sleep. The house is quiet, like it's holding its breath. Every nerve in me is raw. I think of all the small betrayals that led us here, the day on the bus, the missing warmth in her gaze, the stolen lines of poetry she once called her own. A wave of bitterness washes over me. She fooled me in so many ways, taking other people's words, other people's hearts, using them as if they were hers to give. Eventually, when the sun is just a pale hint on the horizon, I hear movement outside the bedroom door. I open it to find her perched on the couch, eyes red, her face etched with guilt. She whispers, "Marco's his father." My stomach clenches. "Who's Marco?" She meets my eyes with a flicker of defiance. "A musician. We had a thing, on and off, before you and I married." Her voice shakes. He showed up again, a few months ago. That's who. She stops, swallowing hard. He's the one I was singing to. My vision narrows. The bus driver. Not exactly. That day, you saw me singing. He was helping a friend drive the bus for some local event, covering for his buddy. He's John. I never thought I'd see him again. Rage bubbles in my chest. And you what decided to pick up where you left off? She blinks back tears. It wasn't planned. He was performing at a bar near my poetry reading. We started talking. I was drunk. We ended up. I raise my hand for silence. I don't need the details hammered into my skull. I see images in my mind. Her slender hands tangled in his hair, the hush of her breath, the same hush I thought was only for me. Get out, I snarl. She stares, eyes wide. What? Get out. I can't look at you right now. Her lips press together, but she nods. She picks up a small bag, shuffles to the door. She lingers, as if hoping for me to stop her. I don't. I watch her walk out, watch the door click shut. Then I sink back into the chair, feeling the quake of my own heartbeat. I think about Marco, some free-spirited musician drifting in and out of her life, taking the one thing that was supposed to be mine. I want to find him, to make him pay. But I can't even form a plan. All I feel is betrayal, spinning in my chest, like a razor. Days pass in a haze. The morning light means nothing to me. I go to work, write hollow words, come home, stare at walls. I pick up my son from his friend's place. Bring him here. He's pale, weaker than usual, but still tries to smile when he sees me. I keep telling him it's okay, that we'll fix it, that I'm here. And I mean it. No matter what the test says, he's my boy. Rebecca texts me daily, begs to talk in person. She tries to come by when I'm at the office, leaves notes. I throw them away unread. I'm not ready to face her. I don't know if I'll ever be. One Friday afternoon, I'm walking home from the bus stop with groceries when I see the school bus parked by the curb. The door is open, and I notice a guitar case on the steps. My pulse spikes. Could it be him? The man who invaded my world, took my family from me. My hands tighten on the plastic bags. I walk faster. Then, from inside the bus, I hear her voice. Soft, lilting, singing that same melody I once thought was ours. My chest constricts with fury and heartbreak. I storm onto the bus. And there he is, Marco, leaning against the driver's seat, strumming a gentle chord progression on his guitar. Rebecca's standing close, singing the refrain as if entranced. They both freeze at the sight of me. You bastard, I breathe. My voice is dangerous, shaking. He sets the guitar aside, raises his hands. Hey man, let's calm down. Don't talk to me. I glare at him, then whip around to face her. Rebecca, what the hell is this? She winces. John, it's not. We were just rehearsing a song. Rehearsing, I echo. My rage crackles through my veins. You're rehearsing, while our son is in the hospital for more tests. Unbelievable. Marco steps forward, but I shoot him a murderous glance. Stay back, I warn. He does. His eyes shift between us. I'm not trying to make trouble, okay? I laugh, a harsh, bitter sound. Too late for that. You made plenty of trouble 9 years ago. Rebecca tries to lay a hand on my arm. I yank myself away. Don't. She looks at me with eyes full of apology. But in her posture, I see a flicker of longing, like she's torn between him and me. And that kills a piece of me all over again. He clears his throat. Maybe we should talk outside. I shove past him, heart hammering. I can barely see straight. All I know is that I have groceries in one hand and a swirling storm of betrayal in the other. The air outside is hot and stale. I drop the bags on the curb with a thud. He follows, setting down his guitar case gently. Look, man, I'm sorry. I never meant to. You're sorry. My voice shakes. You had an affair with my wife, fathered a child you never cared to claim, and now you're here, playing guitar with her. After everything. Rebecca rushes between us, arms raised. Stop it, both of you. This is not how we fix anything. Fix, I echo. You think this can be fixed? She swallows hard. He's willing to help with the medical costs. He's a match. If our son needs a transplant or donation, Marco can. I go rigid. Wait, you're telling me he's going to be the donor? She nods, tears welling up. John, we have to do what's best for our son. Please understand. My fists clench. Part of me knows that if our boy needs help, the biological father is the best option. Yet the humiliation surges, the realization that this man will step in as if he's the hero, as if I'm the incompetent fool who can't even provide a genetic match for his own child. I stare at them both, my chest so tight I can't breathe. Then, without another word, I grab my groceries and walk away. I don't look back, even when Rebecca calls my name. My ears are ringing with furious shame. That night, I sit at the kitchen table, swirling a cup of whiskey. The overhead light flickers, and for some reason, that small annoyance nearly pushes me to tears. I bury my face in my hands. The memory of them in the bus, the quiet strum of his guitar, her singing, the DNA test results. It's like a relentless wave pounding me into the ground. Eventually, I open my laptop. I find her old poetry collection, the one she proudly published, claiming it was all hers. The day I discovered it was plagiarized from various sources was the day I realized how deep her deceptions ran. She stole lines from me, from her college professor, from a friend's unpublished manuscript. Her entire persona as a poet was a house of cards built on stolen words. I open a document containing the evidence I compiled, scans of the original poems from others, side by side with her versions. I stare at them, anger pulsing in my veins. Why did I let it slide? Why did I let her get away with it, telling myself that maybe she had a creative block and just borrowed a line or two? I recall how proud she was, calling the collection Letters of Love. She said they were personal letters to me, to our family. Lies. All lies. The only genuine note in that entire book might have been the dedication to her beloved husband and son. I slammed the laptop shut, trembling. A cunning voice inside me whispers, "Expose her. Show the world who she really is." My father taught me that truth matters, that words have power. And for once, I want to use that power to break her illusions the way she broke me. The next day, I call an old friend in publishing. He owes me favors from back when I helped him land a local deal. I tell him I have a story that will rock the small literary scene we have here. Something about plagiarism, stolen poetry, a real scandal. He's instantly interested. But a flicker of guilt eats at me. Am I doing this for justice or just cold revenge? Then I recall the hush of her voice as she sang to Marco, the way she looked at him, the betrayal that oozed from every hidden corner of our marriage. The guilt fades. If she can toss away our life so easily, I can toss away her illusions. After finalizing details, I drive to the hospital. My son is due for more tests. I want to see him, be there for him. When I arrive, Rebecca is in the hallway with a nurse, her eyes puffy from crying. She sees me and rushes over. "How is he?" I ask, keeping my tone neutral. She sniffles. "He's okay. The doctors say we caught everything early. They can manage his immune condition with medication. But if it worsens, he may need a bone marrow donation." "And him?" I grind the word out, meaning Marco. "He's tested. He's a match." She exhales shakily. "John, I know you hate me right now, but we need to be united for our son's sake. Please." I nod, stiffly. I glance through the window into the room. Our boy is sleeping, ivy lines in his arm. His soft hair falls over his forehead. My heart hurts in a way I can't describe. I don't care whose DNA made him. I'm the one who fed him, soothed him when he cried, Read him bedtime stories. I love him more than my own life. I turn back to Rebecca, forcing my voice to remain steady. We'll do what's best for him. That doesn't change anything between us. She nods, tears sliding down her cheeks. I understand. Over the following days, the doctors stabilize our boy. He's discharged with a regimen of meds and close monitoring. Rebecca moves back into the house for his sake, sleeping on the couch. We walk on eggshells around each other, not speaking more than necessary. She tries to lighten the atmosphere for our son, but he senses the tension. The poor kid is too young to grasp the full extent of what's happening, only that Mom and Dad are not the same. Every time I see him, my chest is heavy with conflicting emotions. Love, confusion, heartbreak. I wonder if he'll hate me one day, if I'll have to step aside so Marco can swoop in. The idea makes me want to lash out at someone. One evening, I come home late from the newspaper office. Rebecca is reading to our boy in the living room. When he drifts off, she quietly tucks him in, then follows me into the kitchen. The air is taut. She's wearing a simple sweater and jeans, hair pulled back. We haven't had a proper conversation in days. She clears her throat. John, can we talk? I shrug, leaning against the counter. Go ahead. Her voice trembles with sincerity. I need you to understand something. It didn't start with some plan to betray you. It was loneliness. It was confusion. And yes, I made a huge mistake. Many mistakes. I'm sorry. I wish I could take it back. I swallow the bitterness on my tongue. You can't. She nods, tears in her eyes. I know, but I still love you. I swear I do. A strange emptiness spreads through me. You love me, but you ran to him. Her eyes shut. It was a moment of weakness. It was never about replacing you. My voice rises with anger. It was about taking something that didn't belong to you. You do that a lot, don't you? I grab her poetry book from the shelf, an old worn copy. Like these poems. I hold it up, meeting her startled gaze. Every single word stolen from someone else. She pales. John, please. I slam the book down on the table. Do you know how humiliating it was for me to find out? I defended you, told people you were a talented poet, and then I learned you were faking everything. My nostrils flare as I search her face, just like you faked our marriage. She bursts into tears, but I feel no compassion at this moment. The anger that's been simmering for years is at a boiling point. I pick up the book, flip through the pages. Letters of love. The biggest lie of all. With a sudden impulse, I toss it onto the cold stove burner. Then I light the flame. No, she cries, reaching for it. I push her back gently. Let it burn. We both watch as the edges of the pages catch fire, the cover curling up. Smoke rises in acrid tendrils. She stands there, stunned, tears carving paths down her cheeks. John, please. My voice is eerily calm. I can't live with your lies anymore. I won't. She stares at the flames, licking the book, the words turning to ash. Then her face goes slack, defeated. She steps away from the stove, trembling. I turn off the burner, watch the last scraps of paper crumble into gray flakes. I feel a cold sense of finality. This is my revenge for every moment she twisted reality. For the heartbreak over a child who isn't mine by blood, although still mine by every other measure. She sags against the counter, hands covering her face. I can't even look at her. I step out of the kitchen, heading to the yard for fresh air. Days pass in a morbid routine. I keep working, keep taking care of my son, keep ignoring Rebecca's attempts to talk. The tension is so thick you can taste it. She tries to cook, tries to ask me about my day, but I respond in monosyllables. My revenge is not a burst of violence. It's the slow torture of silence, the heavy presence of a man who is done caring. She stops singing. Maybe she finally realized I can't bear to hear her voice weaving pretty tunes for someone else's ears. One afternoon, I get a call from my friend in publishing. He's launching the expose on her plagiarized work in next month's literary column. He's going to out her. I tell him to go ahead. Something cold in my chest welcomes the final blow, the public shame. But then I see my son, pale and shaky, trying to smile while coloring a picture for school. He draws our family. Mom, Dad, him. He doesn't know the difference in genetics. He doesn't care. He just wants us together. Guilt tugs at my soul. I'm punishing his mother, but he's the one who suffers most from our tension. I take him to the park for fresh air. He's quiet, but eventually he asks, "Dad, why are you and Mom mad at each other?" My chest constricts. We're not mad at you. I manage. It's grown-up problems. But I love you, kiddo. Don't ever doubt that. He nods, eyes big and solemn. He says nothing else, but his small hand slips into mine. It nearly breaks me. Eventually, the confrontation I've avoided comes to a head. Rebecca storms into the bedroom one evening while I'm rummaging through old photos. She slams the door behind her, eyes shining with determination. "I can't do this anymore," she says in a broken voice. "I know you hate me. I know I betrayed you. But you can't keep killing us with silence. Our boy needs stability." I stand, tension thrumming in my muscles. "What do you want me to say?" She stares at me, tears trembling on her lashes. "Say something real. Yell at me, curse me, anything. But don't shut me out like I'm a ghost." Suddenly, I snap. My voice explodes into a shout. "What do you want me to do, Rebecca?" "Huh. Pretend it's all fine. Pretend I'm not broken inside because of you." She shouts back. "I know I ruined everything. And I hate myself for it. But I can't fix it if you won't even look at me." We're both yelling now, voices echoing off the walls. The tension that's been building for weeks spills out in a chaotic rush. It's an ugly argument, full of raw accusations and desperate tears. I accuse her of lying, of plagiarizing, of sleeping with a man who stole my place. She accuses me of neglecting her emotional needs, of burying myself in work, of pushing her away. Her tears flow freely. She screams in frustration, "You never touch me anymore. You never hold me, never ask how I am." Because I can't stand the thought of you in my arms, I roar back, fists clenched. "You gave that to him." A vicious silence follows, the kind of stillness that crackles like static. Then I deflate, the anger seeping out of me. My shoulders slump. She steps closer, voice hoarse from screaming. "John, I am sorry. And I know you can't forgive me overnight. Maybe never. But I'm still here, and I want to make this right." My chest tightens. "You can't." Tears spill down her cheeks again. "You're right. Maybe I can't fix it. But I swear, I'm not going anywhere. Not while our son needs us both." For a moment, we just stand there, breathing hard. My mind cycles through 1,000 memories. Her laughter at our wedding. Her expression the day our son was born. The nights we curled up reading each other's stories. I recall the stolen poems, the day I burned her book, how satisfying it felt to watch the flames devour her lies. I recall Marco's smug face, that guitar, that bus, and the quiet sigh in her voice that used to be mine alone. In that whirlwind of conflicting emotion, something breaks inside me. Or maybe it heals. I'm not sure. But I hear myself speak in a low, shaky tone. "I used to think you were my safe place, that no matter how messed up the world got, coming home to you and our son made it all bearable." She closes her eyes, tears streaming. "I wanted to be that. I failed. But you're still my safe place, John, even if I ruined yours." A tremor courses through me. I feel rage, sorrow, and a flicker of something like compassion, all tangled together. Our marriage might be beyond repair, but we still have responsibilities. Our boy is sick. He needs both of us. Despite everything, I can't just abandon him. Or her. Slowly, I sink onto the bed. She approaches hesitantly. I don't push her away when she sits beside me. Her shoulder brushes mine, warm and trembling. Where do we go from here? She whispers. I stare at the wall, my jaw clenched. I don't know, but I'm not leaving him. She nods, a shaky breath of relief. I understand. We stay like that in silence for a long time. Maybe minutes, maybe hours. Two broken people, forced to coexist by the love we share for a child who deserves better. In that silence, I find a twisted sort of peace. A realization that my life will never be the same. But I'm still breathing, still fighting. The next few weeks blur into a strange routine of hospital visits, quiet dinners, and forced civility. I discover that Marco is stepping up financially, paying for some of the specialized treatments. Part of me wants to refuse his money out of spite, but I can't risk my son's health. Pride means nothing if he doesn't get the best care. Rebecca and I speak in calmer tones, but there's a wall between us that might never come down. She tries to apologize in small ways, making me coffee in the morning, giving me space in the evenings. I accept these tokens of regret without comment. One day, she mentions that Marco offered to meet with me, to hash things out man to man. I nearly punch a hole in the wall at the thought. But as time passes, the raw fury cools into something dull, a constant ache that drains me. Finally, I say, fine. Let's talk. We meet in a neutral spot, an empty diner after closing time, courtesy of a mutual acquaintance. I arrive first, sitting in a corner booth. The hum of the overhead lights sets my nerves on edge. He steps in a few minutes later, guitar case slung over his shoulder. I glare at the sight of that instrument, remembering how he strummed while she sang my private lullaby. He approaches, caution in his dark eyes. Thanks for meeting me, he says quietly. I nod, fists tightening under the table. Get it over with. He sits across from me, setting the guitar aside. Look, John, I know I screwed up. I didn't know she was married when we first. I found out later, but by then I hold up a hand. I don't need the details. He grimaces. Right. I just want to be there for my kid now. I never knew. If I'd known, I'd have. My voice is brittle. Save me the heartbreak of raising a boy I believed was mine. He lowers his gaze. That's not what I'm saying. I respect what you've done. You're the one who's been his father all these years. I bite back a retort. So now you waltz in, jam with her on a bus, and expect me to roll over while you play hero with your matching DNA. He rubs his temples. I don't want to replace you. The kid might need my help medically. Silence stretches. The overhead light flickers once, casting our shadows on the table. I study his face. I see regret, maybe sincerity. I hate him. But a part of me also recognizes that this might be bigger than both of us. All right, I finally say. You do what's necessary for his health. But don't think for a second I'm stepping aside as his father. He nods. I understand. My teeth clench. I hate having to share that title with a man who slid into my marriage. But if it saves my son. We part ways with awkward civility. As I step outside, the warm night air hits me, and I feel a surge of conflicting emotions. Maybe I did the right thing. Maybe not. All I know is that I'm still breathing, still standing. Time passes. Our son's health improves under the new treatment plan. The doctors say they're optimistic. Marco quietly pays some bills, disappears again for a while. Rebecca busies herself with a part-time job tutoring students in literature. Ironic, I think, given her history of plagiarizing. But I keep my mouth shut. The nights are long and quiet. I sleep in the bedroom. She stays on the couch. Every so often, I hear her sobbing softly in the early morning. I never go to her. I stare at the ceiling, letting the guilt and anger swirl in my chest. And then one day, the story hits the local literary scene. An expose on letters of love, detailing how entire sections were lifted from obscure authors. Rebecca's name is dragged through the mud. Calls come to the house. I watch her panic, Watch her break down in tears as old friends shun her, mentors condemn her. She begs me, "Did you do this?" I don't answer. She knows, deep down, that I had a hand in it. Her eyes fill with hurt, but she doesn't lash out. She simply nods in acceptance. This is my revenge, and she'll live with it. The next day, she packs a small suitcase and leaves for her mother's place, only returning to check on our son or pick him up for doctor appointments. The house is emptier than ever. I exist in a strange limbo. Half relieved she's gone, half lost without her presence. My father's old photograph, now in a cheap new frame, seems to judge me from the mantel. I imagine him shaking his head, disappointed. I down a shot of whiskey, telling myself I don't care. One night, I hear a knock at the door. I open it to find Rebecca. She looks exhausted. Dark circles under her green eyes, hair pulled back in a messy bun. She's drenched from the rain outside. "John," she says quietly, "I needed to see you." I step aside, letting her in. She glances at the living room, at the couch where she used to sleep. Then she turns to me. Her voice trembles. "I'm giving you the house. I can't stay here." I stare at her. "Why?" She looks at her hands. "I've lost my reputation, lost everything. Maybe I deserve it, but I can't stay in a city where I'm a public joke." A flicker of pity stirs in me. "Where will you go?" She shrugs, trying to hide her tears. "I don't know. I have some money saved. I'll manage. Maybe get a place near the ocean." She swallows hard. "I just came to say goodbye. And to thank you. For taking care of him. For everything." I sink onto a chair, feeling a surge of conflicted emotions. "You're just leaving. What about the boy?" She wipes her cheeks. "I'll come back for him, or you can bring him to visit, if that's what he wants. But right now, I can't be here. It hurts too much." Part of me wants to scream that she's selfish, that she's running from the mess she made. But then I see the broken woman in front of me, and some old compassion in my chest flickers. "Do what you have to," I say, my voice hollow. She steps closer, trembling. "John, She stops, searching my face. Then she leans in, brushes a light kiss on my cheek. It's not romantic, not seductive. It's a goodbye, pure and simple. I don't move to stop her. Her lips feel cold, like a memory fading. She heads for the door, pausing one last time with her hand on the doorknob. I see her shoulders tense, as if waiting for me to say something, to call her back. I remain silent. The door shuts softly behind her, and just like that, she's gone. The next morning, I wake up feeling strangely lighter and heavier at the same time. The sky outside is gray, rain still pattering against the windows. I make a cup of coffee, stand by the sink, and stare into space. My son is at a friend's house overnight. I'm alone with the shards of my life. I think about how I started this journey. A naive husband, proud father, trusting friend. Now, I'm not sure what I am. A man scorned. A father by devotion, not blood. A writer who used the truth to destroy the woman he once loved. My phone buzzes. It's an email from one of the big editors at the paper. He wants me to write a personal column about betrayal and forgiveness. Apparently the story about Rebecca is the talk of the town, and the paper wants to capitalize on the scandal. I stare at the request, feeling sick. Part of me wants to do it, to spill everything. But I sense my father's voice in my head, telling me there's a difference between the truth and revenge. I've done enough damage. I close the email without replying. Around midday, my son comes home. I hug him a bit longer than usual. He asks where Mom is. I tell him she needed some time away, but she loves him. He nods quietly. We spend the afternoon doing homework, watching a silly movie on the couch. For a few hours, I almost feel normal. In the evening, as he sleeps, I step outside for some air. The rain has stopped, the sky clearing. The cool night breeze hits my face. I think about everything that's happened. The infidelity, the stolen poems, the DNA tests, my quiet revenge. I don't regret exposing her lies, but I do regret the collateral damage. Our boy will grow up with a broken family. I can't pretend that's okay. I close my eyes, letting the night wash over me. And in the hush, I finally let myself feel it all. Rage, sorrow, disappointment, confusion. I feel them swell in my chest, then fade, leaving a quiet acceptance. She's gone. I'm still here, and my son needs me. Maybe that's enough for now. The next day, I wake to a faint sense of clarity. I drop my son off at school, then drive along the coast. The salty wind whips through the open window, stinging my eyes. For the first time in months, I breathe without pain in my chest. I stop at a quiet overlook, kill the engine. On the passenger seat is my battered notebook, the one I used to scribble ideas in back when I dreamed of writing more than local news. I flip through old notes, some about fatherhood, some about the complexities of love. They're messy, scribbled in half-faded ink, but they're mine. My words, my truths. I pick up a pen, start writing. The words flow in a broken stream at first, then gather force. I write about betrayal and the hollow echo it leaves. I write about a boy who deserves real love, not illusions. I write about a man who burned a stolen book to cleanse his own heart. I don't hold back. I let the rawness spill onto the page. As I write, I realize something important. The worst part of this entire ordeal wasn't the affair itself, or even the fact that my son's DNA isn't mine. It was the cold, creeping sense of indifference I felt from her. That subtle shift when she stopped caring enough to be honest. The quiet disregard that replaced love. Because that's what kills you in the end. Not the fiery crash, but the slow drift toward nothingness. I finish writing, close the notebook. For a moment, I watch the waves crash against the rocks. The sun starts to break through the clouds. There's a tension in the air, like a trigger being cocked before a shot. My heart is pounding with something akin to resolve. I realize that I survived. And in surviving, I found a new sense of who I am. I might not ever forgive her completely, but I can't keep clinging to hatred. I have a son to raise, a life to rebuild. And I'll do it one step at a time. I take a deep breath, tasting salt on my tongue. Then I turn the key in the ignition. The engine rumbles. I head back onto the highway, back toward whatever future waits for me and my boy. My chest still aches, but there's a quiet steadiness in my breathing. I'm alive. Not for her, not for revenge, but for myself, and for the small hope that tomorrow might hurt a little less.